Hello everyone. I am on my favorite road and I like to take walks here too, just because it's a nice setting and it's quiet. I have been praying about making more videos. I don't want to name anyone and make things, negative for anybody. But I do believe the Lord wants me to continue in this series because the other day it just popped into my mind, the scripture verse. It says, it's in Proverbs 37:13, "But the Lord laughs, for he sees their day of judgment coming." And the second verse, Proverbs 1:26 through 29, "I in turn will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when dread comes on you." And the reason I was concerned was because I was laughing as I was sharing the supernatural power of our Father. And it really comes down to just being overwhelmed by the power of our living God, and we haven't even seen anything yet. So when I made the video, I was enthusiastic and I was laughing, and I was concerned about that because I don't want to laugh at anybody's salvation or lack thereof. But even in the Bible, the Father laughs at our sin and our pride that causes us to sin. So anyway, I believe he wants me to continue on this road that I am on. And I want to continue on the story that is coming to pass. It's just what I need to share. So now, if you looked at my videos, you know that Karen got saved, Barney got saved in a supernatural way. Her twin sister got saved. But unfortunately, something happened that turned her sister away from God and away from Christians. I don't know how things are going with them right now because, believe it or not, Barney and Karen had gone to a church after they got saved, after they got baptized. Now, I was in Delaware when they got baptized in New York, and the father actually told me to go to their baptism. Now, that was a 6-hour drive, and I went to their baptism. That's how important baptism is to our Father. So they got baptized, and it was suggested to them, I don't know who told them they need to find a church to go to. So they found a church, and they shared what was going on between myself and them and the demons and everything else. And the elders and the pastor of the church told them that this was not God. But before they did that, we had a few other things that we were actually involved in. So I came up, they were baptized, and our Father would speak to Karen and to me separately. And then, I was like the leader of it, and the Lord would have me call Karen and share what the Lord was telling me. Now, I am married, and my husband has had some very, there's a lot going on. There was a lot. He's coming along, he's doing a lot better. But he was full of demons. I didn't know that. When I first met him, I thought he was gay. And there's a reason for that, because the Lord showed me when he was a baby, his father had given him to the Catholic Church, and he gave me a horrific dream that one of the church heads was actually doing stuff to Dwayne when he was a baby, if you can believe that. Shocking, I know. So, anyway, our father told me, I was up in New York, and our father told me that he wanted me to go down to Delaware with Karen because he wanted to talk to Dwayne through Karen. And that surprised me. I was like, wow, I don't think she's going to go. She's got 2 little babies. I don't think she's going to want to leave her children. She had never left her children overnight, ever. One of them was, I think, like 2.5, could have been 3. And then her other one was maybe 5 or 6, something like that. So anyway, the Father gave me scripture verses about Dwayne. And it was about if he did not obey him, our Father was going to destroy his winter house and his summer house. I will give you the scripture for that. I forgot to write it down. But he told me that Dwayne had to get rid of his house or he was going to destroy it. And I was like, why would God do that? Is it an idol to Dwayne? I don't know. So I didn't think much. I mean, I thought a lot about it. I thought, this is never going to happen. And he told me that he wanted Karen to come down with me so that he could talk through her to him, because I'm not a prophet. So I just kept myself quiet and I was waiting upon the Lord. The next thing I know, Karen calls me up and she said, "You're never going to believe it. God told me that I'm supposed to go down with you to Delaware so that he can talk to Dwayne." And I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted. I was like, wow, this really is God. Wow, this is amazing. So I said, all right, well, I'll tell Dwayne about it. And the fact that she was willing to go, you don't understand. I hope you understand how important that was, that she obeyed God and was going to leave her 2 children and her husband. So anyway, so God gives me the scriptures. That's when he gave me the scriptures. I said, Father, he's not going to let her come into his house. He's not going to listen to her. And that's when he gave me the scripture. It's in Amos, I believe. And that's when it said, if you do not obey me, you'll lose the winter house and the summer house. And he actually owns a house in an area that gets winter. And then he also has a house down at the beach, which is his summer house. You can't make this up, guys. So I'm like, okay, so I have to call Dwayne up and tell him what God said. Now, he was there Christmas Eve. He saw the power of the living God. He saw how the Lord had to chastise Barney, and he saw how supernatural it all was, and he knew it was God. So I told him that our Father wanted to come down and speak to him. And he said, I don't want her to come. I said, okay, Dwayne, but this is the scripture verses God gave me to give you if you say no. And I told him it was Amos, it might have been Amos 3:5, I don't know, I'll put it in the box. And so he went and looked that those verses up. It's probably just one verse. And he came back, and his voice, he was shaky, and he said, all right, she can come. I was amazed. I was totally amazed. So now, Karen and I come to a date, and it wasn't very, it wasn't even a week away. So I go and, let's see, how did this work? Barney brought her to my house, and I drove from there. So we're driving along and we're chatting and getting to know each other better. And she told me that Jesus was sitting in there in the car with us. She could see him so easily. I just can't even really explain how it was painful for me, because here I was, a Christian my whole life, had never seen Jesus, and here she gets saved and sees him the same night she gets saved. And it's not only that she sees him, she talks with him every single day, and he talks, you know, she sees him. And I was like really having a hard time with all of this. So we're driving along, and we get about 5 miles from his house. Now, you're not going to believe any of this, but this is the honest to goodness truth. My check engine light went on, and I'm like, oh no. And fortunately, there happened to be a gas station right near where we were. And so I pulled into the gas station, and my car went dead. I couldn't start it again. And so at that time, the phones were still pay phones. Remember that, you guys? So I went and called Dwayne. I said, Dwayne, I said, my car stopped. I don't know why. The check engine light came on. And so now we're at, you know, such and so gas station, which he knew where it was because it was right down the road from his house. And he said, okay, I'll be right there. So he comes and gets us, right? So he comes and gets us and drives us to his house. And then he immediately gets back in his car, and he says he's going to go take a look at it. I said, Dwayne, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, that's all right. I'm already up. You know, I'll just go and see, you know, what I can find. I said, okay, it's your call. So you're not going to believe this. So we go into the house. Okay, I unlock the door, and I start to go in the house, and Karen starts to come in the house, and she stops dead, and she says, I can't go in here. I said, why? What's the matter? She said, there's demons all over the walls. They're hanging on the walls. They're hanging from the ceiling. I said to Karen, really? Come on, really? Now, you guys, I have always hated that house. I have always hated it. I hate it to this day. He has not gotten rid of it. He is disobedient to the Lord. And I don't know what his end result is going to be, but he still is not accepting a lot of what the Father warned him about. Now, I had dreams before this ever happened. I had dreams, you guys, of him being dead 3 different times, 3 different ways. Now, I think 3 is what? Is that the, maybe 2 is for a witness. What is 3? I don't know what the number 3 stands for. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, so now we're in the house, and she says, I can't stay here. I can't stay here. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So the Father tells her, you must cleanse this house. So now I'm going around roaring. I don't know what I was saying. I was speaking in tongues. I was roaring, and Karen was with me, and we were cleaning this house in the Spirit. I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted. I felt like I was in a movie. So I'm going to end there. It's 14 minutes, and it takes a long time for these things to you know, download or whatever you want to call it. So here we are now. We're in his house. It's full of demons. I'm roaring and destroying them, and that's where we'll leave it, and I'll start another video here in a few minutes. Shalom.